RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12 is here. Wait.
The year is 2020, and there's a fierce urgency of now.
It's time to tease your wigs and start contouring for your life, because RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12 is one of the best things that's happening right now. The show is a few episodes into Season 12, and there's already plenty of lip-syncing, drama, and catfishing allegations that got a queen kicked out. Catfishing. According to the Queen of Queens, RuPaul, contestant Sherri Pi was the epitome of a drag queen. She was sassy, flamboyant, and campy, but in this really fashionable way. But in what some are calling the biggest controversy in RuPaul's Drag Race history, it recently came to light that Sherri Pi was keeping a shady secret from the whole world. Even Mama Ru was completely in the dark until the truth finally came out. According to Vulture, 7 men have come forward with allegations of misconduct against Sherri Pi. According to the victims, Sherri used a fake identity to pose as a casting director and offer them made-up roles. Supposedly, Sherri was posing as a casting agent for an upcoming HBO show called Bulk. According to the accusations, Sherri Pi, whose real name is Joy Guglielmelli, also tricked the victims into sharing private photos and videos of themselves. One of the accusers was 23-year-old Josh Lilliman. He told BuzzFeed that Sherri was so convincing, he never had a reason to think she was catfishing him. He alleged that Sherri built up so much detail for the show that I was truly convinced it was real and associated it with HBO. Once word got out, a spokesperson for VH1 wrote a statement that appeared at the beginning of episode 2, announcing that Sherri Pi was disqualified. The show also cut her out of their social media clips. And since Sherri had won a cash prize of $5,000 in one of the episodes, VH1 decided to donate that amount to the Trevor Project. But folks watching the show in the UK were not aware of the recent drama. UK Netflix drama. At the start of the second episode, VH1 added a statement saying that Sherri Pi had been disqualified from the competition. Of course, that didn't mean the show was being cancelled. After all the other queens worked really hard throughout the season. It wouldn't be fair to them to act like the competition never happened. But their decision was final. The statement revealed that the grand finale hadn't been filmed yet. It said, Sherri Pi will not appear in the grand finale scheduled to be filmed later this spring. But there was one major oversight that would leave UK fans scratching their heads. You see, while US drivers were still reeling from the shock, the message didn't appear on Netflix, which is the only platform where UK viewers can legally watch RuPaul's Drag Race. So fans across the pond who hadn't heard about the drama on social media were completely clueless about why Sherri Pi had been disqualified. Edit her out. Drag Race fans have a love-hate relationship with the contestants. That tends to change from one episode to the next. In this instance, though, everyone seems to be completely outraged by Sherri Pi's action. In fact, some fans are asking producers to edit her out of Season 12 completely. As a result of the recent accusations, fans can't believe they'll be forced to watch Sherri compete week after week. And they have a point. She was heavily involved in group challenges and got plenty of camera time after all. But there isn't a simple way for VH1 to fix this. They simply can't reshoot the entire season. Not only would it be extremely time-consuming, but costly as well. The best way production can handle the scandal right now is to try to edit Sherri out of the narrative as much as possible. And as for Sherri, well, moments after the BuzzFeed article got published, the former contestant released a statement on Facebook owning up to the accusations. Sherri also claimed they'll be seeking treatment for their mental health. Not that that changes anything, because fans are still pissed, and they want the show to take even more drastic actions. Cancelled? As news of Sherri Pi's actions spread, producers added a statement in episode 3 for UK viewers, which they had originally used in episode 2 for US fans. Although Sherri had apologized for her behavior, it was too little, too late. Soon fans around the world started throwing around the dreaded C word, cancellation. But given RuPaul's popularity, it's safe to say that when it comes to RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars, and Drag Race UK, Shantae, these shows are here to stay. But if fans had their way, Season 12 would sashay away in shame. While some viewers want Sherri edited out of the show, others are calling on VH1 to scrap the entire season and film an entire new version of Season 12 without Sherri. But let's be realistic. It's highly unlikely that the show's producers are going to meet their viewers' demand, no matter how much they cry out for justice. Besides, this season has plenty of talent, and we can't wait to see who lip-syncs their way to the top. On that note, who's your favorite queen so far? Shantae, you all stay. RuPaul's Drag Race has been on the air for 12 seasons, plus a number of spin-offs, and yet the show always manages to keep things fresh. But during the season 12 premiere, the show offered a surprising twist. Now, usually, the lip sync for your life bit is reserved for contestants who are on the bottom. Whoever wins the battle will live to fight another day, while the other queen will be forced to sashay away. Except that didn't happen this time. The premiere was split into 2 episodes. The first group of the queens were introduced in episode 1. The contestants had to perform in front of Nicki Minaj. Widow Von Du ends up beating out Gigi Goode during a lip-sync battle to the song Starships, and she's declared the winner. Everyone thought that one of these girls would be on the chopping block, but nope. RuPaul announced that at the end of the episode, no one would be going home. In fact, more queens would be joining the cast. Episode 2, Jada Essence Hall went against Sherri Pi, while lip-syncing to Call Your Girlfriend by Robin, and Jada won. But all the queens weren't really on the bottom, but rather at the top of their respective episodes. This meant that Widow and Jada won a cash prize of $5,000 each, and no one went home, which gave all the queens a stay of execution. But there was still plenty of drama and suspense right from the get-go. It's written on the wall. In season 2, a new tradition was born where an eliminated queen would write a farewell message on their workstation mirror using lipstick. But the season 12 premiere didn't have an elimination. Of course, that didn't mean that Britta, Nikki, Doll, Widow Von Du, Jackie Cox, Heidi N. Closet, Gigi Goode, and Crystal Method didn't leave a surprise for the remaining 6 queens that were later introduced. At the start of episode 2, Rock M. Sakura, Dahlias Sin, Sherri Pi, Jan, Jada Essence Hall, and Aiden Zane walked into the workroom and discovered a few surprises. Not only did they learn they weren't the first queens of the season, they also discovered that the first group of queens had a written message in lipstick for them to read in the mirror. The message read, "We done already. Done had ourses." Rock was the first to notice it. She didn't quite get it at first, but as she looked around the workroom, something caught her attention. There was a rack full of dresses in the corner. That's when she realized that she and her fellow contestants were in for some stiff competition. Meeting the competition, Jada Essence Hall told VH1,
"I consider myself a beautiful woman. I can win a pageant because regardless if I'm competing in a pageant or if I'm competing in a competition, I come to win."
And she meant it. In episode 2, she reminded everyone that she was there to slay. But it's not going to be easy with so many fierce queens around. As soon as RuPaul popped up on the screen, he told the contestants, "Oh, wait a minute, there's only 6 of you for now." After cackling like a Disney villain, Ru walked into the workroom and gave the queens their challenge. But they didn't get to meet the first group of queens until the end of episode 2, which carries into episode 3. Initially, the 2 sets of queens start out with hugs, and they later learn that 5 of the queens are from New York, particularly Jan and Britta, who know each other already. But it's not long before Nikki Doll points out that the 6 new queens have already started complaining, while Jackie Cox warns the girls that the first queens have already been through stuff, even though they've only shot 1 episode. Of course, Ru may have had a hand in adding to the drama among the queens, but we'll get to that later. Meanwhile, it didn't take this set of queens long to start dishing some serious drama themselves. Fight or flight. While the full group of queens are all assembled in episode 3, the last group of queens started bombarding the first one with questions about how life on Drag Race was going so far. Jada asked one of the episode 1 queens if they ran into any issues, but Sherri Pi interrupted and asked, "Have you guys fought at all?" The workroom gets eerily silent, and the other queens start giving one another uneasy looks. They cut to a series of flashbacks that show there was plenty of tension during the Maxi Challenge, but when they flash forwarded to the present, the queens claimed that there were no fights. Then another queen asked Sherri if she had a fight in episode 2, to which she replied it was not a fight. But when someone asked who the fight was between, another queen said it was between their top 2, Sherri and Jada. The latter explained that it was a slight disagreement brought on by the pressure of getting ready for their number. But then Ru shows up and does something really shady. Shady ranking. In episode 3, Ru gets the episode 2 winners, Widow and Jada, to line the queens from most threatening to least threatening based on their initial impression of them for the show's challenge. That's straight up shady. But there was a twist that no one saw coming. Aiden and Heidi were considered the least threatening queens, but they weren't upset for too long when Ru informed the group that they would join Widow and Jada as team captains during the challenge. The contestants went on to star in a show called World's Worst, which was like like an anti-version of America's Got Talent. The contestants had to fake having little to no talent whatsoever. But there was some shade thrown around, like when one of the queens said, "It's so hard for me to be the worst, but it's going to be pretty easy for some of them." Ultimately, big laughs and hilarious performances all led to Sherri walking away the winner in the challenge. Not that it mattered, given that viewers knew she was disqualified. But if the queens were banking on another non-elimination episode, they sure were disappointed, especially for one queen who made a rather unusual exit: Dahlia's exit. If you haven't seen the episode yet, make sure to skip to the end, because there's a big spoiler coming ahead. The queens learned that there would be no saving grace in episode 3, but some viewers thought Crystal Method was going to be in the bottom 2 because she'd gotten a lot of critiques from the judges. In the end, it was Dahlia Sin and Nikki Doll who were in the bottom. The two queens had to duke it out in the Lip Sync for Your Life challenge. Each of them gave it their all while dancing and lip-syncing to Ariana Grande's song Problem. In the end, Ru made her decision. After a tense moment, she turned to Nikki and said, "Shantae, you stay," which meant that Dahlia had to sashay away. But she didn't do it with the same class that some non-winners have shown in the past. She just walked off the stage without saying a word to Ru or the judges. She didn't even say goodbye to the other queens. But she did keep the tradition of writing a farewell message on the mirror, which read, "Keep your heads up. I love you all, Dahlia." And the rest, as they say, is her story. Do you think season 12 should be reshot without Sherri? Did Dahlia make a mistake by storming off the stage at the end of episode 3? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to The Taco.